Hey, I'm Orla from your Women's Gear Review channel, and today we are reviewing the Bellroy Totepack. In this review, we have sectioned it off into summary, features, fit check, comfortability, see how it feels on the female body. We're going to do a wee airline test, water test, pros and cons, and then rounding up the video with some final thoughts. And of course, if there is anything that we have missed, then just pop us a wee comment below. Okay, let's get cracking on with the summary. So this is priced at £185. It is made up by the nylon, and they are an eco-sustainable brand. The nylon that they use gives that water-resistant, lightweight, durable finish. The capacity is 20 litres. So in terms of weight, it is 850 grams. But then if you want to pack it up and you're looking for a wee estimated weight, it does work out for a roughly just 2 kg. That's just handy enough if you are thinking about using this as a personal item, which we'll get into in a minute. Then you might want to know the weight and how heavy it can get. The dimensions are 16 by 11 by 6 inches. So you can get it in the color bronze that I have here, or you can also get it in the Raven, which is a black, or the Everglade, which is kind of like a blue-green minty color. And then you have the deep plum, which is like a deep purple kind of brown. So in terms of the shape and style, this is definitely a lot better in terms of practicality and the look of it in comparison to their Laneway Totepack that I have reviewed, which will be out, so you can check that out as well. It had more of like a flexible front, and the way that it was kind of positioned, it looked like two little trousers. The pockets were like split down the middle and you could get in through the top, and they kind of just bulked out, and I really just didn't like the shape of it in comparison to this one. This has more of a practical use and a practical look to it. It's quite clean and sleek. It's got really great material. I really do enjoy this kind of crinkle effect. It does hold some flexibility here on the front, but it is well padded. So sometimes if you get it and you nudge it a little, it does sit up by itself, but sometimes it does flop forward, which you might see throughout the video. Bellroy do offer a 3-year warranty and worldwide shipping. When I say that their shipping is speedy, it's literally next day kind of delivery. It's there in a heartbeat. They also offer 30-day returns and exchange. Over on our channel, we have tested out a few Bellroy products, and we will continue to review their products. It's definitely a grower. Like in terms of their, what was it, the transit work pack. At the start, I really was not a fan of that, but then it's something that grew on me, especially with the material. At first, I really wasn't a fan of the crinkled effect, but it really just works well, especially for like everyday kind of use, and also holding that kind of water resistant material. And the brand itself are really sustainable and make great efforts in being sustainable, so it's definitely appreciated. Okay, let's get into the features. So with the branding, you have some subtle branding throughout. You have some on the front, you have it on the back and on the inside of the bag, and on some of the hardware as well, such as the straps. So externally, it is quite minimal, as you can kind of see. It's got this just slender kind of look. First up, you do have those top grabbing handles. What I love about this is that it kind of sits in this position the way it is now, because this is a bit more rigid rather than like it just being a kind of flimsy seatbelt material. Whilst this is still a seatbelt material, there is a little bit of hold to it, so you can kind of just hold it in position like so, instead of it just flopping about, which is really nice to go along with the aestheticness of this tote pack. Also on the sides, which I have to say it was something that I really appreciated, was these like external kind of loopholes. Because if you haven't seen any of my reviews or videos, I love to like attach my headphones on the outside of a bag. So that is super handy for that. And if you wanted to, you could probably attach more things to it. I would love the kind of thought process behind this, like to have this kind of go like that, rather than having the option to like open it up and maybe extend this up a bit further if you wanted to, and then you could kind of clamp it down if you wanted. You know, those ones where you can kind of compress with the like clips on the compression on the sides. That might have been nice, but I still appreciate the kind of loopholes here. It might have been nice to have another one on the bottom, say you wanted to put even like your tripod or anything else externally, then you could have done so, but you've only got these two on the side, which I guess just doesn't make it as chaotic as some bags can be. Okay, as mentioned, I have reviewed their Laneway Totepack, and the pockets on the front were coming from the top here, whereas this one, for me anyways, is much better coming from the side, because you can just swing the bag around, grab what you need, and then swing it on back on each side. So this side that you have here I've opted to put a tripod in there. The space does kind of get a bit tight. Not gonna lie, when the bag is fully packed out, it is a bit tighter, but enough to put in those smaller items that you might want to get quicker access to instead of going into the main body of the bag. Now, the two pockets are still split down the middle here, so one pocket on this side, one pocket on that side. Then inside here, you do have your key lash, which I'm not really a huge fan of this kind of style. I do prefer something that has a bit more elastic, a little bit more give, so then you can just go to the door and then swing it back in. But that's there if you need it, if you prefer that kind of organization, or you could actually just chuck them in there. Inside is that nice clean water resistant material, so it's easy if any spillages do happen, but again, it is still just a small wee pocket. When you got your zips, you can kind of hide them in behind there, and it goes in line just in keeping that, I guess, with the water resistance. But just be aware if water is seeping down, these aren't like coated, the zips aren't coated on these sides, and we'll get into the zips on the top here because I'm not a fan. Then on to the other side is just space. I've opted to put some spray in there, and yeah, there is sufficient padding because you've got an extra wee pocket here if you wanted to place any, if you wanted to just kind of give yourself some organization. I just flop that pocket back and just shove what I need in there. But there is a little bit of organization there if you wanted it. You could even, if you're feeling a little bit risky, you could put your passport in there. I'm not feeling risky. And then that's that. You can just kind of hide those zips behind that, like that, giving that wee bit of anti-theft. Okay, now moving on to the main body of the bag here. As mentioned, I'm not a fan of a chunky zip. I'm just not. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the feel of it. I prefer my zips to be TPU coated, but that's here. It's at the top. They do run smoothly, but they can get stuck at some stages because when we get into the bag, you will see there is a little bit of fabric at the top, which kind of helps with, again, water resistance. If anything is seeping in, at least it's seeping into that. But that can get caught, which is kind of annoying. It does open up. It's not great. That's what I say, like, if you could have the option to detach these, maybe we could get more of a opening to it. It's grand. You can still see what's going on. Inside is bright interior, which we absolutely adore. Praise be, thank God, because I hate when you open up a bag, especially a roll top, and you can't see. It's quite annoying. I've opted to place my jacket in there, and inside, just be aware if you are packing it up to the full, then you might not get straight access to this first pocket here. You have a zipped pocket. This zip definitely runs a lot smoother than the top ones into the main compartment. I've opted to place in my purse, wallet, passport, and some sunglasses in there. The mesh here is absolutely stunning. It's the same kind of design as their Laneway that I have reviewed as well. The pop-up pockets, genius idea, because see, if you don't want to be using those pockets, then you can just close them off and get full range of the space itself. I've opted to place an umbrella in there, and then a water bottle. Now what I love is attention to detail. So on the kind of pop-up pockets, they've implemented like a little, I guess like a little pillar, so then you open it up and it's just easier then to, instead of just shoving it in and trying to find the range of the pocket, then you can just open that up and get what you need out and in. And that is on both sides. Now I am notoriously known for loving my water bottles out on the side, because then you can easily swing the bag around. But I mean, the fact that you get them in the inside, then it is grand. As you could have seen probably with the kind of silhouette, they do kind of bulk out. But if you don't want to use them, then you have a range of the full space there. You do then have a smaller kind of techie pocket, which I will give you a measurement of that space. Just because if you do have any smaller tech accessories, then you might want to know what the sizes is. Whereas I don't. That pocket, that first one, with a little bit of light mesh, is 10 inches in height. I'd say about 9 inches across. So that's just for smaller kind of tech accessories. Then you have the laptop compartment. I'm able to fit in my 12-inch that I have here, which is lovely. Sufficient padding, nice false bottom. Again, they have a lovely little tag to kind of pull that forward so you're not having to shove anything in. It's nice, well padded as mentioned, got a nice bit of flexibility to it. Now I will give you the range of that pocket to what you can kind of max it out with. Sometimes it's the cross that just gets you, because then you can't really max it out. Across, yeah, I think it's gonna be the same as mine. Yeah, about 10 inches, I'd say. 9 maybe, to just be on the safe side. And then from the top to the bottom, if you wanted to run it up to the very top of the pocket, the cutoff point is about 16 inches, but to go in line with the kind of laptop compartment, about 14 inches, I would say. Yeah, and that's just a little bit of measurement, so then you can kind of weigh it out with your own laptop. Mine's is an Acer 12-inch. I do love here at the bottom of the bag, this is well structured, so when you are setting down the bag, you don't have to really worry about the wear and tear and the longevity of this bottom here, because it's kind of like well padded, and the material is amazing, so you're not having to worry about that, which is inside the bag. Deep down you do have a little kind of like a little secret discreet way of putting in your air tag. If you have one, you can place that in the bag, and it is a bit discreet, so if anyone's stealing your bag, you can find them. So moving on to the back system here, you have stowable away straps here. What I love is that they've implemented a little button in the back, so you can clip that in, secure your straps in nicely. They haven't just left it open. On their Laneway, no, I'm making comparisons, I really want to do a comparison video, is that they could have implemented a little magnetic kind of close there, but they put that in for this, which I absolutely love. The straps themselves are well padded. It's kind of that same pattern that's on the Transit work pack. And the straps here are adjustable, nice and easy to detach via the G-hook system. So if you want to stow these away, you can, and just enter the kind of tote mode. On the back here, there is no kind of padding or anything. It's just what it is. There's no prompting of posture, no airflow. But that leads us nicely into a wee fit check, comfortability. Let's see how it feels on the female body. Obviously, you can hold it like this. I really don't opt to, especially because I have a sore wrist at the minute. It's not really accessible for lots of people as well. So it's nice to note that you can offer this, or you can swing her on back onto your bag. So you can adjust the straps here to your own build and height if you... Oh Lord. Well, that's not fun. Just be careful of that. As you just seen, that came out really easily. I'll be back. Right, in terms of the straps, absolutely grand, really comfortable, but this whole thing of just easily slipping out there, as you would have seen, and now I have to like try and figure out how to put it back, and I'm not very good at with like little tiny things and trying to figure that out. My brain's like, meh. So that's a bit annoying. But in terms of like when it is like this and you can adjust it, it's absolutely grand. This is what it looks like on me. For reference, I am 5'6", and it curves nicely around the female body. The only downfall is this whole thing that just came loose. It is fixable. It's just taken longer than I needed to. Okay, let's do a wee airline test. These are the representation of EasyJet measurements, so take what you will from that and kind of weigh it up with your own airlines, and always be sure to check the measurements against that. For a wee personal item, that fits in lovely. For the water test, as you can see, the water just runs off this material, especially the front here and the back. Just be aware of the seatbelt material, where it is just going to hold a bit longer and take a bit longer to dry. Okay, time for some pros and cons. Pro number one is definitely the attention to detail. That's what Bellroy does, is that things like the air tag and also the little pillars to help open and maneuver the pockets a little bit better. Also, the bright interior and the thoughtful features, especially the kind of swing the bag around side pockets here, that's definitely much appreciated. And also the overall style, like I feel like it has quite an urban feel to it, but also can be set in a professional setting as well. Some cons is that, just like, I don't know if you can see on some of the material, when it does get a little bit of, like I've put it in that box and it gets a little bit of dust or a little bit of movement to it, then it's kind of harder to maintain, but the kind of water resistant material is absolutely great with it. But you do have to kind of be careful and make sure you're putting in the efforts to keep this as neat as possible, because when it does find those little moments, such as this front bit here, then it kind of just stays. And also the whole strap here, I think that was just an unfortunate event. How dramatic, but you know what I mean, like it just came off by itself, so the kind of security of that is a bit lacking. Also, speaking of security, kind of anti-theft features are one of my main things, especially if you are using this for city life. It would have been nice to maybe have lockable zips, or even at the back here in the back compartment to place in a hidden pocket. Now don't get me wrong, see if you want to place anything in there, if you're using the straps and you've got thinner items, you could go ahead and do so. It is well padded in the back as well. There is no pockets, but it would have been nice to have a wee pocket in there, but at least you know you've got that security of that clipped button. So that is the end of our review. We hope you enjoyed, and if you did, then why not consider joining the GBO community and hitting that subscribe button. If you do happen to have a wee gander on their website and you're thinking about purchasing this bag or any of their other bags, then we would be forever grateful if you could use the links below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!